When I first saw Angels with Scaly Wings, I thought, oh, another Hatoful boyfriend, but with dragons. I figured it would be a game where you get to play as the stereotypical horny bard that exists in almost every D&D game. I planned to play the game and then write a summary of my journey that would tell of my sure-to-be wacky adventures with a bit of raunchy humor thrown in for entertainment value. I'd put in some funny sound effects, maybe a funny hand-drawn picture or two, and rate it based on how much I laughed at the surely too absurd premise to have any serious value. You might have noticed that that isn't happening right now. This is indeed that video, but this is not that format. That is because Angels with Scaly Wings is not what I expected it to be. The game starts with an opening video that lets me know that next time I should read the game summary instead of buying because of the pretty colors. This isn't a fantasy game, it's a sci-fi game, complete with its very own Stargate. I am the ambassador of Earth. My mission, to facilitate a trade between humanity and the civilization that lives on the other side of this portal. My hope, that this trade will create a lasting benevolent friendship and provide technology that will save the human race. My name? Smoggette. Yeah, okay, I still thought this was gonna be a funny game where I seduce dragons. So I come out of the portal to see my first dragon. This is Remy. After this, I don't see him much. He takes me to where I'll be staying, and the game truly starts with this tarot card motif. I don't truly understand it, but I'm down for some dragon mysticism. First things first, I have to go meet all the important people. I meet some dragons, like my security escort Sebastian, and one other human, Riza. He's here because he was the first human to go through and test the portal. He's a bit of a killjoy and already giving me shifty vibes. I also meet this hot dragon chick, Anna, and got her number, and it only cost me my blood! So Riza takes me out to lunch, and already he's going full conspiracy theorist. Something is wrong. They're watching us. Their government is full of lizard people. You know, all the greatest hits. He doesn't even touch his food. We sit down, he tells me something is weird, trust no one, and he'll send me a signal when the time comes. Then he leaves, while I munch on some dragon bacon. I meet some more dragons, and then I head home, when I get a letter under the door. It's from my crazy friend Riza. It doesn't say anything special, but I know better. I go through the apartment and find some lemons. As we all know from National Treasure, lemons reveal all kinds of secrets. The secret message tells me to meet him at the portal, and I guess I have no choice but to do so. So we meet alone in front of the Stargate in the dead of night, like totally rational and not criminally intentioned people. Riza starts to tell me what he's discovered, the thing that is making him act so strange, but we're interrupted by Maverick, Riza's dragon escort. He demands we head back to the police station for questioning, and while I try to defuse the situation like a normal person, Riza pulls his gun out and shoots him, like a crazy person. Everything goes to crap. Maverick knocks me down with his tail, Riza runs away, and the police come to question me on the possibility of a terrorist conspiracy. Luckily, it takes very little to convince everyone but Maverick that I'm not the bad guy. So the next day, the police chief Bryce meets up with me and we take a walk. He tells me that Riza still hasn't been found and they would like my cooperation in finding him. Sure, I think, as we leave the police station. Will I really be helpful, I wonder, as we head towards the local park? They wouldn't ask me to do anything weird, right? I question as I stare at the dead body bleeding profusely on the ground. This is where the game enters investigation mode and I become Sherlock Holmes, dragon detective. Actually, I just get asked a bunch of questions that are moderately easy to answer so that we can establish this was probably Riza with a knife. Also, I get a dragon's phone number at the crime scene, because I'm just that irresistible. The next day I have some free time, so I get to choose an activity with one of the many dragons I've met. I decide to visit Lorem first, and he turns out to be a big art nerd who wants to make a computer game about humans. He easily becomes my best friend here. His roommate Ipsum is also pretty cool, except he just won't shut up about science. So much science. My second activity is to hang out with this red beauty. She's sassy, she's smart, oh yes, Anna has my dragon-shaped heart. Anna is a scientist that works at the production facility and we hit it off right away. She's got a dry sense of humor and an attitude problem, so why not ask her out to lunch? We go to the local lunch place and I try to get her mind off of work by playing a trivia game. I lose because, you know, I've been in this world for all of a week, but Anna still agrees to go on a date with me as long as I agree to do some more tests. Smoggette is killing it. The rest of the game continues much the same. A chapter begins with new tarot cards, part of the murder mystery is investigated as more dragons die, and then I get 2 free periods to go on dates or meet new characters I've bumped into along the way, like this old ice cream dragon who reminds me of Haku from Spirited Away. During the investigation, I come in contact with a new human when they kidnap me and take me to a secret lair. They are someone called the Architect, and even though they just kidnapped me in the middle of the night where no one could find me, I trust them implicitly. The Architect tells me the secret of this world, a secret I honestly didn't expect. It was a bit anticlimactic to figure it out via exposition dump, but it still was an interesting twist that explains Riza's actions. I leave the lair with a moral conundrum on my hands. Despite the doom and gloom for my job as an ambassador, my relationship with Anna progresses better than expected. I do more tests, we go out for food a little too late at night and end up murdering a local farmer's sheep instead, she comes over to my place and tells me she's going to jail for her research, she's dying from a terminal illness, we have sex on my couch, all the good stuff most relationships are built off of. She invites me to a fireworks show, and I accept. And then the climax. Anna and I head to the fireworks show when suddenly I realize that fireworks sound like gunshots, and with everyone here it would be super easy to get to the Stargate. I ask Anna to go get help, and I run to the portal, hoping I'm not too late. And since I'm the game's protagonist, of course I'm not too late, though poor Sebastian is already dead when I arrive. Inside an underground human facility, I don't have time to explain, just go with it, I find Riza. I get him to do his whole villain speech about humanity and saving our homeworld and how the bad secret thing is bad and we should get out, and it sounds less and less like a villain speech the longer he goes. It's too bad he didn't just talk this out before he went and shot a dragon for no reason and then went on a murder spree, because the answer is apparently fairly easy if we just had more time. But I've kept him long enough, because Anna and Maverick burst into the scene. And the Architect is here now too. Riza is cornered, but he is going down swinging. He fires 1 shot at the Architect, 2 into Maverick's head, and another 2 into Anna as she dives in front of me to save my life. Anna sets Riza on fire with her dying flame breath, and I'm left alone in a room of corpses. Actually, turns out the Architect is alive. And also she's some chick named Izumi. She activates the portal and sets it to travel through time. I go through with a new mission. Get a better ending than the one where everybody gets shot. And wow, was that not what I was expecting at all. It was a more fulfilling story than I expected. I liked the characters more than I expected. I wanted to play more and see more that this game had to offer. But I won't tell you what I learned. I'm still playing through this game and trying to get the true end, and honestly, the more little things I find on my own, the more special it feels to me. And there's a lot of little details and secrets to find. This is a game that has a lot of fun and interesting features, from card games and puzzles to a playthrough memory feature that messes with you the same way Flowey messes with you in Undertale. This game has an awful lot of love put into it for a game about snoggin' dragons. And that kind of makes me a bit frustrated, because the worst part of this game is the romance. And that's kind of a duh, because how do you make romancing a dragon, well, romantic? When it's played for laughs, writing a silly romance is easy, because you're romancing a frickin' dragon. But trying to write a genuine connection to the point where your audience treats the attraction as serious is, Well, it's so hard that actually it's impossible depending on the player. As funny as it is to say, I don't actually want to have sexual relations with a non-human entity. It's just not my thing. So no matter how serious you write it, I'm just not going to feel that heart-throbbing spark I get from other games that revolve around humans, even when those games are worse. And that frustrates me, because the rest of this game is so surprisingly good that I want the romance to be as well. But I digress. Angels with Scaly Wings is a game with an incredibly silly premise that takes itself seriously enough that I actually cared. I wasn't crying over the character deaths, but I did want to try again to get a good ending. The mystery was interesting enough to keep me engaged, the characters were charming and distinct, and the gameplay was more than just picking correct choices every half hour. I really enjoyed this game. Though I will also mention that to get a good ending is a little bit more convoluted and nitpicky than most otome games that I've played before. Things like having to find a specific item or having to have talked to a specific person a number of times in order to get the information you need. Obviously, if you're looking for real romance, this is an awful title. But if you like games like Hatoful Boyfriend where the romance is really just a joke to throw you off the game's real story, this is a fun entry I'd recommend. Thank you for touring the Otomeverse with me. Let me know how your otome journey is going so far, and I'll see you next time. Happy Valentine's Day! Bye-bye!